I wasn't there when it started. It just felt like it was, first of all, I didn't know what that thing. Yeah, but right. To me, Seth, he made it sound like no, this is different. Look at this. This is Chris. It was okay. That's what we kept with brother. Oh, he's so but that's the thing. Yeah. And his brother. Dan was saying that we didn't have a ball with us. I don't know, but when he said that, I was like, yeah, look at him walk.
Ready? Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. Commissioner Davidson, Brian Mon, and Joe Blau present. It was properly posted on September 17th, and District 3 will lead us in our prayer and pledge.
Please now pray with me. Dear Heavenly Father, we are gathered here today to do your work through county government, and please lay your hand on us during our difficult decisions and keep all of our employees that are in harm's way safe today, and all the soldiers across the seas. In your name we pray, amen.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes of September 11th?
Motion to approve.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Is there a motion to approve the claims?
Motion to approve claims. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The bid.
Good morning. This is a recommendation for award for CW 25027. This is a countywide bid for correctional facility equipment and supplies. This is a heavily utilized bid for juvenile. And then we received 9 bids on this solicitation. And upon tabulating those bids, we are recommending award lowest per line item. And category 1 for toiletries, clothing is category 2, textiles for category 3, cleaning supplies is category 4, miscellaneous for category 5. And we're recommending award per line item. There is a category 6 medical supplies. We compared the prices to state contract and found that there's a lot of savings there, so we're not awarding category 6. And that would be our recommendation. And we connected with the juvenile office and they support that.
Motion to go with the purchasing agent's suggestions.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. And that was for item 3, right?
You're good?
Yep.
Okay, any change to the blanket? No
No
change.
changes.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any individual consideration on the consent docket?
Motion to approve consent.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. District 1.
Yes, Commissioners, we need to appoint a new primary member to ACOG as well as select an alternate, and presumably that would be the two of you. However you want to divvy that up.
Well, you're gonna be out.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's pretty, yeah, okay.
I was just asking Joe whether or not, as interim commissioner, he's allowed to serve, or if their charter, you know, like I know the library's charter is just the commissioner. There's nothing you can do about chiefs or, I mean, they're so specific.
Yeah,
that I don't,
well, if I remember right, with ACOG,
I've never served on ACOG, so I couldn't tell you.
I thought you were on ACOG one time.
No.
Just for a short period. So,
No.
okay.
I've gone once or twice as an alternate in all these years. That's it.
No, I'm happy to do it, so I'll I guess make a motion for myself to be appointed, and then an alternate to
What-
be named later,
I mean, we could do Commissioner Mon as the alternate. I know, Commissioner, you're going to
be gone.
be gone, and then if you want, name me as the third person, and in the meantime, we could look at that
That sounds perfect.
if that's how you wanted to proceed.
So the motion would be for me
I'm
to
all
be.
for you doing it. I just didn't know if they're going to turn around and say that doesn't work and send it back to us. So
I think Commissioner Davidson will do great.
Thanks for the vote of confidence. So, the motion would be for me to assume Commissioner Bloomert's position and Commissioner Mon be first alternate and Mr. Blau be second alternate.
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, this is an agreement with the Oklahoma City Public Schools to assist them in site preparation for the new Belle Isle High School. And it is all material cost, as I recall, and we will be reimbursing highway cash from our general fund special projects. I'll move the item unless you have questions.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The next one's our CJAC annual renewal contract. We have a few folks signed up to speak. Mark Falk. Like the shirt?
Thank you. I'm here to speak in opposition to renewing the contract with CJAC. I know that at this point, only Oklahoma City, Edmond, and Oklahoma County are paying them for their advice. Under their tenure, since they pushed through the jail trust, and again, we all know that CJAC was essentially created at the urging of or by the Chamber of Commerce, and that they pushed through the bond for the new jail, and that they pushed through the jail trust. Under the jail trust, we have had 50 deaths. Just last week, we were able to, as an organization, the People's Council for Justice Reform, help to push turnkey out the door. CJAC did nothing about turnkey as people were dying in that jail. We have talked to people in the last week, and I hate to be blunt, but where there were rapes that were called consensual sex in the jail. and we have talked to the victims' families. And that was public. It's gone out on the news. So since the jail trust took over, there has been no drop in the number of people in the jail. CJAC will tell you that there has, but that goes all the way back to the time under the sheriff. Since they are largely responsible for the jail trust, largely responsible for the jail bond that only covered a third of the cost of the jail, and everybody knew that, including you, Brian Mon, as you're talking about the increase of costs in building a jail. We all know that actual costs have only gone up about 25% since that was passed. But yet we need triple the money, and now you're getting ready to come back to us and try to do a 1 cent sales tax in Oklahoma County. We are taxing the people to death, and we are literally killing people in that jail. And I strongly oppose and urge you to break ties with CJAC and become an actual independent governing body. Thank you.
Christopher Johnston.
Good morning, everybody. I'm also speaking in opposition of CJAC because looking at it right here, it's $150,000 to give an entity that has shown little to no real substantive change in helping and everything like that. Hence, that's why one of the reasons why Midwest City cut ties with them in that really long town hall or meeting. It would also help because, as we know, the Attorney General's office says that it's your guys' job to fund this jail and everything, and it would help offset the cost. But guys, just look at it like this. Look at everything that's going on, right? Look at numbers rising. We've had 50 deaths. Right here is the point of contact for the lead on the investigation into the county jail for the DOJ. All of that stuff just doesn't miracle itself into existence. They're here for a reason. They're not here because Christopher Johnson said, come down to Oklahoma City. It's a fun place. They're here because there is reasonable suspicion, right? All of these events that are happening. Turnkey Health, that was a disaster. They even left because there's not enough people. So the thing is that you have to look at, does this make sense? Okay? Don't buy into the sunk cost fallacy. Well, we put a bunch of money into them now, so we just need to kind of keep going. We can do something different. You look throughout the rest of the state, and they don't have entities running this. You can look at other states. They don't have jail trust, CJAC. They've got a county sheriff. They got responsible politicians working together, and it works out just fine. So, guys, look at the whole totality of everything. Look at the whole body of work, and I strongly urge you to cut ties. We're broke. We don't need to fund his paycheck. Thank you.
And I have Councilwoman Sarah Bana, but I don't see her. Is she? Okay, if she shows up later. Is there any discussion on this item? No. Are there motions? You're not a second?
I'll let you. If you will.
Okay, I'll second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, item 15 is due to the announced vacancy of Commissioner Blumert, the need for election of a new, at least vice chair. And then if,
Yeah, it's just vice chair. You're not going anywhere, so.
I
vice
mean,
chair will
it's
suffice.
there if the board, I didn't want to just pick on one person, so it's there if you want.
I think just appointing me as the vice chair will suffice. And that'll be my motion.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And item 16, I'm waiting on a note for this, so if it's okay with you, I'll bring it back here in just a minute in case I know there's elevator congestion going on. The item 17, this is with the district attorney's office for law enforcement advisors to do consulting services in a particular piece of litigation.
Do we need to wait, or can we go ahead? Okay, motion to approve. Or second, sorry.
Second, yeah, motion to approve, sorry.
Okay. And there's a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Engineering.
18 is a programming resolution with ODOT for a bridge in District 1. It's Britton Road in Hiawassee. We're going to replace that bridge. So to get the whole project started, this is one of the first steps.
Thank you, Stacy. I'll move the item.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And item 19 is a report from our bridge inspectors. We had a couple of bridges that were on a 1-year cycle instead of the 2-year cycle. Bridge 145A is near Arcadia. We already have that under design, and we should be under construction with that in 2025. So we're good there. Bridge 66 is in District 2. Your superintendent is aware of the repairs he needs to make now, but we'll probably keep this one on a 1-year cycle. So that's the report. You're signing a document that says we've received the report and the information.
Okay.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
This is policy and governance, but District 3 items.
Yes, first one, item 20, is the $200,000 of ARPA funds for Blue Jay. You guys heard all about that a couple weeks ago. I'll make the motion to approve that.
And second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Item 21 is for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. It's also for $200,000. Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
They're not going to be able to get my note back to me in time. So let me just go ahead and go back to my item 16, which is the annual report for my inspection this year of the jail. Given that I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to resume being there, I wanted to go ahead and do that. I had a terrific experience. In fact, probably the best tour I've had in all the tours I've ever done of the jail. And I want to start off by commending you and the rest of the trustees on the improvements. I mean, I went through an exhaustive time going through there, and then subsequently did a second tour with Sarah Lynn and Erica, who are here present today, just a couple of days later to showcase the improvements that I saw in there, because I thought seeing was believing and that some of those things really should be pointed out. In particular, I noticed the enhancements. Of course, the jail cells just look better. They're painted. They have bright colors. There's been attempts to enhance the hallways and the initial impression when you first walk in the facility. There's improvements with the locks, which has been a project that we've been working on for a long, long time, and there's still much more work to be done on that. That's an expensive process to replace those, but it's certainly making a big difference on the cells that do have those. The bedding that they've made for reduction in bed bugs, and the paint that's less likely to be peeled and tore apart, and the cleanliness of the cells. It was always so frustrating to me in the past to go in there and see that stuff was allowed to be placed on the walls, that stuff was jammed into the vents, and it just seemed like there was just not a patrol of what, when they do site checks, clearly would be visible to the naked eye. These are not things that are harder to detect, like contraband and other stuff like that, just the basics. And in this tour and in the subsequent one, which I always take people with me and allow them to choose. And my tour, incidentally, included Melissa Markle, our new jail trustee, and Heather Gardner, who is the new appointee for District 2 on the jail oversight committee to build the new facility. And they were both taking notes and you know, for what we should do with the new facility, but also things that can be improved on that. They each have backgrounds that lend to that. And um, they were guiding the tour. I let them pick. I give them the manifesto, said, go where you want to go. So it was absolutely random. And the most impressive thing of all is that every inmate that we came upon said nice things. That wasn't just ones we chose randomly to pull out of their cells. That was ones that we would encounter in the hallways, ones out doing duties, with chores. Found them out there playing chess and checkers and other card games and stuff that's available in the rec time when they were out in the general area. And they each, some of them had been there on more than one occasion, and they talked about the times previous that they were there and about how much it had improved. And it was all unsolicited, just say, how do you find the conditions? And then they took it from there. They were respectful to the staff that was working there. They seemed to know who the staff were by name, which had clear identity. There wasn't a lot of fluidity and changing who was running each pod, so there seems to be a lot of stabilization there with who was managing. There are obviously staffing challenges. We know that. You're continuing to improve that. They showed us the training center. We went through and observed some training that's going on, and I know that the overall goal is to extend that training, I think, up to 12 weeks, and you're currently at 8. And that's a major substantial enhancement over 2, I think, that it started off being, which is contributing towards staff retention, no doubt. And I think diffusing situations that are occurring inside the jail, they seemed more prepared when visiting with the staff. A lot of them shared that their experience of training had helped them be better armed for the job. Every single cell that I inspected, I didn't find anything crammed in the vents. That's a first. Never seen that. I didn't find one cell, and I didn't open all the cells. I did site checks through the windows, didn't find any of them with things that were pinned up against the wall. Certainly didn't find any carved out holes through the wall from cells that were allowed then to connect because of the chiseling away of the walls. That's all been repaired. I know that you're working on the phone systems being placed in there, and it's not ideal about what can be in there, but at least we've got communication boxes that are working, and at least in every cell that I checked. And I thought that the cleanliness was good. We went through the kitchen, the laundry, observed a little bit of the food storage area. We went up and checked on the medical and saw where those are still the primitive conditions that are inherently designed with that way of the existing facility, but they were making do. And I do know that you're expecting a change with the medical provider, but also had a number of the employees there say that they wanted to continue to work there, their loyalty to wanting to still help at the jail. So I was encouraged that we're not going to just see an abandonment of staff with institutional knowledge. I thought that the things that Miss Garner took us around and showed us, Brandy Garner, the administrator, on that first tour, she wasn't on the second tour. She was extremely forthright about the stuff that needs to be worked on and the stuff that's fixed and the stuff that's in the process of being fixed. And I thought it was all honest and completely transparent. I thought that there was recognition on the areas that needed to be worked on, so I feel like the focus is correct. She answered very tough questions from the people who attended the meeting, the 2 appointees I mentioned, and they were kind of no holds barred on stuff that they wanted to see and were looking at and wanting to know explanations on. I thought the answers were all terrific. I thought that the inmates' responses about, in particular, how the food had improved was interesting. We went in the kitchen to see how the kitchen was being processed and that it was clean and that their way of going about cleaning it was just after the meal was served. I thought that was impressive. The overall smell was even better than before, which I thought had been improved previously, but I think it's continuing. And they were working on processing in a more orderly fashion through the bookend. We went through that and the Sally port. And again, just overall, for all the years I've been there, I thought it was one of the best, if not the best tour experience I've had. And then I was extremely encouraged by all the stuff that seems to be on the improvement with the limitations of the design of that building, which of course we all know presents its own challenges. So again, I commend you and the other trustees for what you've done, and that concludes my report. Is there a second to my motion? Oh, I apologize, Christopher Johnston. I see that you have. You have a number of items. I apologize.
Yes, no, you're fine. You're fine. It's early. So, Mr. Mon, I've gotten to know you a little bit. We've sat and talked, and we've been frank with each other, and I find your report to be a little misleading. I say that because whenever we talk about this issue of the jail, the ones that seem to be everything is sunshine and rainbows are very small, tight-knit community within the county. Some city officials, but just a small few of people. If everything was good, I mean, we would have passed a health inspection by now. I mean, wouldn't we have? We're not even letting them in. The last time I checked, the hierarchy of government is state, county, city, and so on. Not the county gets to do whatever the fuck they want to do. Pardon my French. I find that to be a potentially fraudulent statement. Now, I have to say potentially because my counsel says that I have to say that. Can't make accusations unless there is actual proof, but raises an eyebrow. I'm just saying that I find that to be misleading. I really do. People can look at me and smile, and the people that are around here, but I mean, we have not passed a single inspection since 2019. That is a matter of factual record. That's not alternative facts, folks. That is documented state evidence. I don't know what else to say. So I think that that's misleading. It's one of the reasons why I won't take you on your offer of taking the inspection. My counsel advised me that with all the investigations and everything going on, it's probably not wise to get involved in that like that. So, but thank you for the offer. So yeah, somebody's got to speak out against this madness because we're not stupid. The public sees exactly what's going on. Everybody who's in on this is receiving something, and you're just falling in line.
Well, honestly, I think that the seeing is the believing, so I'm sorry you're not taking advantage of the tour.
I was advised by my attorney not to do so. I'm going to follow somebody who's got 20 minutes.
It's your right to do so. All in favor, say aye. Aye. You also signed up to speak on these items 22, 24, 26, and 28. Do you care to address those now? Yes, I just didn't want you to not have a chance before we went into recess.
I appreciate that. So this one is, again, this is the John Doe CJ 20241789. I mean, that's just a clear example of what is happening every single day. Is a person who is brutally raped and sexually assaulted in his jail is by a cellmate. Nothing has really been done substantively. I remember I've called on multiple times is there a way that we could try to work with the sheriff's office to get reserve deputies? You're not turning the keys over, but you're getting reserve deputies in there to fill in. Because we got about 267 folks, right? And according to reports, we need about 500 employees. So most of the problems have everything to do with staff shortages, not paying attention to detail. But that's what I wanted to address on 22 is that, guys, you have all of the power. I mean, even reading through the Attorney General's opinion about your job is to fund it, is to run it. You have the responsibility. And you're failing in that. You're failing in that. You're turning it over to private entities in the form of a quango for them to run it. And then, of course, with the city of Oklahoma City, just to bang it out real quick, just to let the public know, it has nothing to do with, just by reading it, has nothing to do with that the city of Oklahoma City is failing. It's just that they are being asked to essentially get ready for court. That's kind of how I took that. So, look, guys, you guys have the responsibility and the opportunity to fix things. You can disregard it or whatever. The public, we're just tired of this, right? We're just tired of this. Everybody sees what you're shoveling. If you don't want any more lawsuits, you don't want any more investigation, you don't want any more negative press, then do something substantive. Because the building is not going to fix this. The way we've been going about it is not going to fix it. Thank you.
You want to address each item individually, or was that a general statement? Okay. All right. Commissioner comments, District 1.
Unfortunately, Commissioner Bloomer tested positive for COVID yesterday. She was not feeling great yesterday. When I spoke with her this morning, she was feeling a little bit better. That's why she's not here.
Sorry for being late. My breakfast ran longer than I expected. As you can imagine, it was much ado about jail and everybody had questions. So again, I apologize for that.
No problem. Any new business? Is there a motion to recess? And wait a minute. Wait. I think I know what she's going to say.
Yeah.
Under new business.
Yes, Commissioners, I have an item of new business that I would like to add for executive session for a confidential attorney-client communications, and that is the matter of Charles DeFuria versus Luther Independent School District, Oklahoma County case number CV 2024-2572. This is a new lawsuit that was filed on September 16th. It was served on the county yesterday. Under normal circumstances, the county has 20 days to respond to a newly filed lawsuit. However, the plaintiff has set the matter for preliminary injunction hearing that is to be held this afternoon before Judge Stenson at 1:30. And for that reason, we did not have time to wait till next week or have time to wait for a special meeting to discuss this in executive session.
All right. So added. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Is there a motion to return to regular session? Second, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
One second. I need to understand something about the new business.
Okay.
We
there
need to
any-
reference that item in our actions. Okay.
Okay. I'm froze. Is the screen? There we go.
That was my fault.
All right.
And
On the new business item, do you want to take that up?
yes, Commissioner, under the executive session item that was brought to us as new business by the DA, that is CV 2024-2572. My motion would be that we would proceed as direct the district attorney to proceed as discussed.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Now, item 26.
Item 26, we'll make a motion to pay filing fees to remove this to federal court.
This is for the new business. I apologize. I was a little lost there for a moment.
Okay.
Okay, this is the action on the new business executive
Yes.
session. Aye.
Okay. Item 26.
Same motion.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
27.
Is this the proceed as discussed? Motion to proceed as discussed.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're froze.
28? Oh, it is frozen. My goodness. We'll do it old school.
Can you get it off?
You get it off so we can actually see the agenda?
It.
There we
Okay, 28.
I don't know.
Pardon?
I'm not sure what we did. I don't think
Where
there's
did
any
council go?
action that's.
I think there is action that
Okay.
was necessary.
Go ahead.
Let me confer.
Yep.
I figured the action one was on 29.
I think that is the 175 amount that was discussed to prepare for litigation.
Oh, okay. So go ahead.
Are you making that motion?
No, go ahead. Because it's the 2080. So motion to authorize $175,000 of up to $175,000 in legal fees to come from Fund 2080, I believe.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thanks, Joe.
Then item 29.
That's probably
Proceed as
proceed as
discussed.
discussed.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We have Mr. Washington signed up for citizen participation. Okay, Mr. Washington first.
Thank you. Greetings, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. I just came in pretty late, and I appreciate you, Ms. Money. It's always a great pleasure to stand before this very illustrious and well-recognized body. Let me say, for the most part, I've recently attended the city council meeting, wherein they also discussed the possibility of a actual lawsuit being filed between this group as well as that group regarding on where the new county jail location is to be placed. Myself, I expressed a righteous indignation while there, and that it is important for the new location not to be placed in the Dale City area, for the most part because of the residents who have a problem with the situation and possible increasing of crime, vagrancy, and a number of other negatives that goes there, as well as possibly the young children being harmed by its location being there. I, for one, think for the most part, with all the numerous places and locations that this illustrious body in and of itself can pick from, why in and of itself would you go into a neighborhood who has been pretty much laid back, quiet, maybe with a little crime here and there, or everyone has it, but for the most part, actually build a jail where you're going to have a continued operation and pattern of conduct, people leaving in and out, going in jailhouse for whatever reason may be. Now then, for the most part, too, you got a lot of people who are going to be placed in Dale City, getting out of jails, and for the most part, don't have to have so-called, as Ms. Tana Bono's, I think that's his name, stated that, well, they're going to be able to use a bus system or transportation system we're going to have. Everybody does not have to ride the bus if they don't want to because it's not mandatory that they do. You see what that does? So what this does then does what? It increases, again, people sleeping in parks, homeless people. It increases the idea of people maybe creating trouble or havoc in those areas. This is very important. Would not neither one of you want such an establishment like this to be placed in your neighborhoods? I know you wouldn't. Take it into the more opulent and more rich neighborhoods, and guess what they're going to tell you? Oh, no, we don't want it here. Why? Because it's going to threaten and lower our property interest. We may be on an additional threat for crime to hit us, or maybe somebody going to break in my house when I'm gone. You understand what I'm saying? These people now, for the most part, what you're asking to place this jail, they're really concerned because children go to school daily. They go to the parks. They go to the store. And I'm not saying, now don't get me wrong, that every person in jail is bad. No, I'm not first to say that. I'm not going to place a blanket indictment on anyone in that regard. But I am going to say, I know about the lawsuit between you and the city, okay? Because the city overruled you in that area. It had to be a reason because they listened to the public's awareness and to their thoughts and ideas. Let me just say for the last part, for the most part, take your time, and Mr. Davidson, you're shaking your head. I know there's been a complaint against you more so than any. You and I, we haven't had seen eye to eye, not in the turbo in a sense, but I have to admit that as well. You're being investigated as well for some illegal activity. Not personally, then I'm going to cut it off at that because I don't want to lose my train of thought. However, in closing, reconsider this. The masses of the people who live in that area love not having their sanity invaded on, their safety invaded upon. Thank you so much again, sir, for allowing me to speak, and may I've done a good job for those who sent me. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, Christopher Johnson.
Thank you, guys. About a month and a half ago, give or take, I asked you guys a question about the new mental health facility, right? And I mentioned to it, like, is it going to be used, for instance, like you mentioned when I talked about like what HIPAA compliant platform is going to be used for computer storage of for telehealth conferences, for records. How are we going to verify therapist credentials, treatment plans, pre-authorizations, assessments? How are those going to be done? And things like that. And I brought that to you guys' attention because I'm a counselor. It's what I did. It's how I make my money. And I have to have strict ethical and legal guidelines. Like I have to even have my notes locked up. Lawyers don't even have to do that, but I do. So the thing is that I want to know, how are we going to protect people's information? Because I agree we need a mental health facility. how it's being used, you have to be arrested first, come into contact with law enforcement. That's not diversionary. That's bullshit. That's not diversionary. Diversionary is keeping people from becoming arrested. So, and it appears to the public that that is being used as a backdoor way to get this new large facility that will increase mass incarceration. But my challenge to you guys is, as I mentioned earlier, I said, you guys have the responsibility of running things, right? Making sure things are done right. Do we have any headway on this of how we're going to run this facility? Who is going to be the agencies? Is it going to be just the typical ones that have, like North Care, Red Rock, that have got tons of money? Or are you guys going to open it up to the multiple 75% of practitioners who are smaller business owners and things like that? So just kind of want to know, is there any headway? Do we know of how we're going to protect people's information? Are they going to use this facility as a hot box to get plea deals since it's attached to this? Do we have any headway? And I'd appreciate it if you guys. I've also submitted record requests to you guys. I'm still waiting on those. I submitted them the 21st of October. I'm sorry, 21st of August. Still waiting for those. But again, what's the headway on that? Do we know anything about construction? Can you let the public know of any of that stuff? Thank you.
To piggyback on what this gentleman just spoke here, I didn't realize when I came here that this too would be a topic of mine. Let me say without reservations, though, with this new healthcare facility, he's talking about the manpower, which is a great subject. But let me also say, too, let's be very careful and not rehire Turnkey Medical LLC. You want to know why? Because it's been under their direction and guidance that many people have lost their lives in the Oklahoma County Detention Center that I call House of Horror. This is a very unique situation, and it needs to be independently investigated. I know y'all can't per se hire or deny or reject or fire the Oklahoma County Criminal Justice Authority people, but I know you have the independent power, since that's your jail and you being the county, to say, hold up, y'all, give me a report on what is going on with the Turnkey Medical there. Why is it people not being able to get out and go to medical and actually have a person looking in the door and say, oh, you all right, medical staff now. Oh, you all right, ain't nothing wrong with you. You faking, you jiving. Okay, that stuff actually goes on because I get the knowledge and awareness from people who contact me daily on a daily basis. You have people, I'm not going to take you long, I appreciate you, so thank you so much. I want to just say this one thing too here. Those people have allowed people to die. People have been actually harmed, not getting the medicines on time. Balls have been placed on in the bodies and different things of this nature. Mental health care facilities. I'm told that they carry both angles here. Let's consider deeply not allowing Turnkey Medical to have an extended contract because they've already considered themselves to be undesirables. Thank you, sir. That's all I wanted to say. Let us move along and let's get this thing. Thank y'all wonderfully. Have a great day. Thank you.
Any other citizens to be heard? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Everyone in?
Yeah.
Call the PBA together. Joe Blau, Brian Mon, Miles Davidson present. It was properly posted on September 17th. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of September 11th?
So moved.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Is that it, or are we?
Might be because it's so cold that it's frozen.
Yeah, no kidding. Is there a motion to approve the claims?
Motion to approve claims.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Monroe.
Item 3 is a construction contract between the between the Public Building Authority and Kone for the replacement of the elevators in the Investors Capitol building. The amount of that contract is $1,425,432, and this contract is given to you today, subject to funding in its entirety and encumbrance, and that should come to you next week.
Motion to approve.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And item 4 is the parking contract.
Motion to approve.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any citizens to speak for the PBA? Any board comments or new business? If not, is there a motion to adjourn? All in favor, say aye. Aye.